Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Tonight on Our News, parts of Potters Key Dock up in flames in a late-night fire. Structures in an Abaco shantytown to be demolished, and Baha Mar giving workers an incentive to get the jab. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, several business owners on Potters Key Dock in shock after watching their livelihood go up in smoke. A late night fire at the popular hangout destroying several stalls and 2 boats, leaving their owners questioning what's next. Giorgio Bain has the story.
This was the blaze at about 10 last night. And this is what was left this morning. 6 stalls burned to the ground, 2 others badly damaged, 2 charred boats submerged in water, and dozens of business owners and employees impacted. The majority of stall owners on Potters Key Dock had already prepped food for Monday's opening and left before severe weather struck.
There was a big gust of wind, and there was like a loud bang, boom, like that. And when I just glanced through the side window later, I saw this big yellow blaze. I immediately called the fire department. I don't know, it took like maybe 30-40 minutes before I got any response. I ran outside, I loosed my gas tank and tried to drag it out because I know if the fire was to get to that, there'd be another explosion.
Vendors stood in awe this morning as they looked on at the aftermath of the blaze. Wendy Constantine, who is the president of the Bahamas Dock and Allied Vendors Association and the owner of Moby Dick Restaurant and Bar, found it hard to describe the feeling of watching 11 years of hard work go up in smoke.
It's overwhelming. It's devastating to see what you put into something, your life, your life savings, the memories, and then now you have staff unemployed.
Insurance will not take no money for a wooden structure on this dock. So we are a great loss.
Meanwhile, Aretha Bastian said her husband, Dwayne Bastian, better known as Tall Boy, is out at sea at the moment with no cell phone reception and no way of knowing that he has lost a boat and his business during the fire.
We have persons really depend on the stall, daily life, that's our daily bread. And we don't know how we're going to get started again, but things could get started for us quickly.
You all own a vessel as well?
Yes, it was a boat at the back. Yes.
Was that injured?
No.
Now the cleanup process must begin.
We have 2 boats in the backyard sink. After they were wind down to water line, we got 2 boats, one 45 and the next one 35 foot. It's in the back there sink. They would have to even be taken up and all that you got now, debris. You got oil, you got diesel.
Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources Michael Pintard told vendors the rebuilding process will not be rushed.
No, we cannot. We're going to take our time. We'll do a careful assessment. We'll hear from the vendors. I will have discussions with my colleagues. I don't control the purse of the Bahamas, as you are fully aware. And so we'll have a candid discussion, and we will do our best to assist.
Now the vendors say they're not sure how they're going to put the pieces back together following the damaging effects to their businesses from the pandemic and now this fire. They say one thing is for certain, they're going to need as much help as they can get, seeing that most of these stalls were uninsured. Reporting for Our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Minister of Public Works Desmond Bannister warning shantytown residents in the farm that their structures will be demolished. The announcement comes just days after a raid on the community in Abaco. Jared Higgs reports.
On the expiry of 14 days from the posting of the notices, all of the unoccupied and uncompleted structures will be demolished.
That warning coming from Works Minister Desmond Bannister as he updated parliamentarians on a joint operation in the farm shantytown in Abaco. Incomplete and unoccupied structures will be demolished in 14 days as part of Phase 2 of the operation. Meanwhile, structures with people living in them will have an additional 2 weeks.
On the expiry of 20 days, the 3rd phase of the operation will begin with the demolition of other structures in accordance with the provisions of the Building Regulations Act.
During last week's joint operation, which involved officials from utilities companies and law enforcement, generators, illegal contraband, and uncustomed goods were reportedly confiscated. All access roads to the community were blocked with large boulders, with the exception of one. Commercial bars were also ordered shut. Bannister justified the raid, saying the country is one of law and order, and the buildings and structures don't meet the code. He says electricity that is illegally provided in the communities is done for profit despite the dangers posed.
Unfortunately, many of these breaches in law are facilitated by Bahamians, who also have benefited financially by unlawfully providing services to unregulated communities. One such example at the farm was the nightly provision of heavy equipment to construct roads, thereby enabling the construction of even more unregulated structures.
Bannister's comments come in the middle of a trial to determine the legality of government shantytown demolition policy from 2018. 177 shantytown residents, represented by Fred Smith QC, are seeking to prove the government's policy is illegal. An injunction was issued that prevents the destruction or construction of structures in shantytowns. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
And Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis accusing the Christie administration of spending millions of dollars on a fun house for the Prime Minister to entertain guests. His accusations in Parliament prompting a swift response from opposition leader Philip Davis, who demanded that Minnis prove his claims. Jasmine Brown reports.
$10 million was being invested in a house near Goodman's Bay called La Playa property. $10 million. And why? The purchase of a house so as to provide entertainment for the Prime Minister and whomever he wants there, other ministers.
Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis says money was unwisely spent to purchase the property that borders the Goodman's Bay Beach parking lot. During debate on a resolution for the creation of an upscale government subdivision off John F. Kennedy Drive, Minnis claimed that his government is one for the people, as he accused the former Progressive Liberal Party administration of spending public funds frivolously. Displaying images of the unfinished structure, Minnis said he thought it was essential that Bahamians see what the $10 million was being spent on.
Already, the government has spent $7 million on such facility. I do not need such facility. And Mr. Speaker, I think it's essential that individuals see what the $10 million was being invested on. This is the structure today.
Minnis said his government will sell the property. PLP leader Philip Brave Davis, who was Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works during the last Christie administration, said the property was not for Christie's personal use and denied that it cost as much as Minnis claimed.
It was not designed for any personal and or special entertainment center for the Prime Minister. It was in keeping, as is what occurring in most Caribbean countries, a center for entertainment of dignitaries from around the world. And I asked him to demonstrate to me the $10 million that was earmarked for it. It was never that amount. I made a mistake. It was not $7 million, to be exact. It was $6,981,946.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, nearly 800 Baha Mar employees have been vaccinated since they were moved up in the priority list last Friday. It comes after the resort spent millions in COVID testing and other costs, including guests who tested positive upon their arrival. Kyle Joaquin has the story.
I'm working in the hospitality industry, around a lot of guests, around associates, so it's important for me to be vaccinated.
With 2,300 Baha Mar employees back to work, they're all being encouraged to register and get vaccinated. So much so that they're being offered an incentive. Baha Mar President Graham Davis says even those still out on furlough are able to cash in.
We're giving a half day's wages to directors and below. For coming out and after your second dose of the vaccine. We're offering that incentive out, and it's just another way to say thank you.
Since vaccinations opened up at the convention center on Friday, nearly 800 employees have gotten their first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine.
I just feel like it's a community project, and we all need to do our part to combat COVID-19 within our community, and I feel like it's a crucial step towards recovery for our country, for our hotel industry, for everyone.
While there are hundreds of Baha Mar employees getting registered, there are still some on the fence. According to Davis, they'll still be able to continue weekly testing, which so far has come with $1 million price tag for the resort.
If they choose not to be vaccinated, we certainly respect that. We'll continue testing as we have spent well over $1 million. We've had over 75,000 tests been done now with our guests and our associates, which we're testing vigilantly every week through a doctor's hospital program, and our guests are being tested on arrival.
But as Baha Mar has done its own testing of guests upon arrival, there have been cases where some have tested positive. In that case, several of them have gotten a free stay on the resort.
A complimentary stay in a suite for 14-day quarantine, as well as $150 per person per day in food and beverage. And should they need to fly back to the United States, we were offering complimentary private air transportation back to closest port down into Florida. Mm-hmm. Now that is in addition to the health visa and the insurance program.
Now, Davis says the site is not only open to Baha Mar employees, but anyone who has registered and is just looking to get vaccinated.
You can certainly come over here. We've opened up our ballroom as of today for anyone that's available and authorized to take the vaccine.
Ulrich Culmer is retired and, due to a backup, was sent from Loyola Hall to be vaccinated at Baha Mar.
I think it was in my best interest to have it done, and I just come and did it.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Severe thunderstorms in parts of the country last night. Are we in the clear yet? Greg Thompson is over in the Weather Center with the details.
Thanks, Christina. Our first segment of weather is brought to you tonight by Ports International for all your medical supplies and your equipment needs. Nice conditions outside considering what we got through last night. Partly cloudy skies, most of that high-level clouds. Temperatures are in the mid-70s, 74 degrees outside our studio. So winds are now out of the northwest at 5 knots. Feels like temperature also in the mid-70s. As I mentioned, got some fireworks last night. Line of showers and thunderstorms moves through the capital, associated with the prefrontal trough. The front now is actually across the northern Bahamas. Will continue to slide towards the south, but those conditions will be improving as the evening goes on. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come, the Constituencies Commission hopes to conclude its sitting next week. Plus, severe weather leaves many in darkness. Stay with us.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
The Constituencies Commission hopes to conclude its sitting on April 19th, according to House Speaker and Chairman of the Constituencies Commission, Halson Moultrie, who demanded updated data from the Parliamentary Registration Department. Jasmine Brown reports.
Moultrie made the unexpected demand as the House of Assembly proceedings started this morning, as he insisted the commission cannot complete its work unless those numbers are reported.
I'm making a public appeal to the Honourable Member for Kalani to request that the Commission be provided with the updated statistics from the Parliamentary Registration Department by Friday.
That was the House Speaker's appeal to the Prime Minister, as he insisted the Commission needs important information by the end of the week.
It is in the intention of the Chairman of the Commission to conclude its sitting on the 19th of April, which is Monday following. It is impossible and impractical to give a reasonable report and recommendation without the empirical data.
The commission was supposed to meet on Monday morning to prepare an interim report on this matter, but Moultrie informed the House that the only members who showed up were himself and Exuma's and Ragged Island MP Chester Cooper, as the other members had other matters to attend to. Moutrie's comments prompted a swift response. When the House resumed at 3 p.m., he revealed the information he had been requesting was delivered during the lunch break. 2 weeks ago, Moultrie revealed that the Constituencies Commission was considering recommending as many as 5 additional constituencies, particularly on New Providence and Grand Bahama, in an effort to achieve voter parity. He said the commission is basically split on the matter. Moutry noted that some constituencies are approaching 7,000 registered voters, while others have fewer than 5,000. He said Golden Isles and Killarney have the highest number of registered voters.
There are 13 constituencies between 5,000 and 6,000 voters. 8 constituencies in New Providence between 4,000 and 4,900 voters.
At last report, there were more than 188,000 names on the voter register, including the names of more than 13,000 newly registered voters. Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, some New Providence residents were plunged into darkness after severe weather impacted power lines last night. The thunderstorm even pushed a barge inland. Jillian Gray explored the impacted areas.
Sparks flew last night as 35 miles per hour winds tossed power lines and trees across the capital. Over on Orange Hill, a downed cable line blocked the entrance, but workers there count themselves lucky as the damage, they say, was minimal.
It was very minor, luckily. I mean, the winds were super strong up here on the hill, but it was mainly just limbs down that we had to pick up. A few broken things here and there, some water coming into some of the rooms.
The black asphalt parking lot at Saunders Beach was blanketed with powder white sand, and a few feet away, the sea grape tree bears the evidence of a fight with lightning. Last night's thunderstorm created quite a challenge for Bahamas Power and Light, which issued a statement on its Facebook page. Irate residents did not hold back in the comments, with some expressing frustration that their area had been off for more than 5 hours. This resident wrote, "This is common practice for y'all, 12 hours plus." Another said, "My current halfway on and these surges are ridiculous." At 1 p.m., the power company advised that lines were down in 8 areas. Damaged cutouts, blown transformers, and low voltage were reported in scattered areas, and a pole fire in Imperial Park took over 6 hours to fix. The howling winds of last night's storm pushed that boat into this dock. As you can see, the dock is a little bit banged up, and when we arrived this morning, we met that tugboat having quite a struggle to pull that barge back out to sea.
When I came, they were like frantic, trying to, like you could see they were working, trying to get it back in the water or whatever like that, and they have a tugboat trying to assist them.
Ken said he was shocked that his stall was not toppled over. He came early expecting to meet it in the road. Others say they were amazed at the sheer might of the storm, evidenced by the debris and disarray they saw as they went about their Monday morning routine.
We had a little bit of damage with debris and what have you, but what was interesting is what happened out here on the beach. If you go further west from here, the beach where the Bahama Hotel is, you will see even the beach chairs filled with sand.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Still to come, the Bahamas government helps a neighbor in need. Plus, Bahamian hoop stars back in action. The details after this.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
This is our news. Welcome back. Following violent volcanic eruptions on the Caribbean island of St. Vincent, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis says the Bahamas is prepared to help. He announced that Cabinet has discussed the matter and has agreed to send money to the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
We're proposing to send monetary. Though times are hard with us, I am certain that all responsible and loving Bahamians would agree that under these circumstances, things are even worse for them because their whole agricultural products would be covered in ash, their water lines would be affected, Barbados has already offered to accept many of individuals from St. Vincent who has relatives or relationships there. And I think it's essential that we do our part.
St. Vincent remains under a shower of ash and is subject to severe water restrictions. The volcano, which last erupted in 1979, has been firing an enormous amount of ash and hot gas into the air since Friday morning. 120 miles away, plumes of volcanic ash have fallen like snow on Barbados. Dr. Minnis says he's spoken with the Prime Minister.
I've reassured him that I would take the matter to Cabinet and we would offer whatever assistance we can.
And in sports tonight, Jazz Chisholm connects on his first home run of the season. Marcellus Hall has that and more.
All right, thanks, Christina. Welcome to our sports on a Monday, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Jazz Chisholm has a single, a double, and a triple to his resume, not to mention a couple of stolen bases so far in the season. The only thing missing was a round tripper, a.k.a. a home run. Going up against the Mets, let's see if he got it done. Jazz Chisholm and the Marlins with the day off yesterday due to rain in New York. However, they did play the Mets on Saturday with flamethrower Jacob deGrom on the mound. Second inning, scoreless contest. Jazz at the plate, 2 out. He connects on a 101-mile-an-hour fastball, drives it deep and gone to the evening. An upper deck solo shot. That puts the Marlins on top early. That lead would hold up. Marlins would add a couple more runs to get the win. 3-0 your final. Jazz on the day would finish up 1 for 3 at a walk. Marlins' next game comes your way today when they take on the Atlanta Braves. Meanwhile, DeAndre Ayton and the Suns playing the Washington Wizards. DeAndre, 14 points, 10 rebounds, and 25 minutes on the floor. Suns get the blowout victory, 134-106. They improved to 37-15, still second in the Western Conference. Suns right back at it tonight. They take on the Houston Rockets. As for Buddy Hield, he and the Sacramento Kings continuing their downward trek. Another loss on Saturday, this time against the Utah Jazz, 128-112. Kings did have the lead on early in the game, led at the half, but couldn't hold on. Buddy with 19 points in a losing effort. That goes along with 7 assists and 5 rebounds. He also had a steal. Kings also back in action this evening when they hope to get a hard-pressed win, a rare win, when they go up against the New Orleans Pelicans. And there it is, your check on sports for you this Monday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Marcellus. Still to come, government officials sending condolences on the death of Prince Philip. Stay with us.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Welcome back to our news. Looks like clear, sunny skies are heading our way. Greg is in the Weather Center with the details.
Thanks again, Christina. A second look at weather tonight is being brought to you by Seven Seas, distributed by NASA Agency Limited. We got through some fireworks last night, frontal boundary and some prefrontal activity moving through the capital, the northwest Bahamas in particular, spreading some showers and thunderstorms across the area. That prefrontal trough has weakened. Actual front is now moving into the northwest Bahamas, some isolated showers with that. But that front will continue to weaken as it sides towards the south. You notice behind, very clear skies, so we're looking at much improved weather for the next several days. Boating forecast for all areas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the north to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. High tide will be at 9:15 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Saturday. That's a look at our weather. Make it a great Monday night, everybody. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. Governor General Sir C.A. Smith and Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis among government officials signing a book of condolences in honor of Prince Philip today. Sir Cornelius reflecting on the Duke of Edinburgh's time in the Bahamas.
He has been a great friend to the Bahamas. He has visited the country on 4 separate occasions, and Bahamians have fond memories of the visits that he's had. We offer our deepest condolences to Her Majesty the Queen and her family at this time.
Prince Philip died last Friday at age 99. His funeral will be held on Saturday at St. George's Chapel on the grounds of Windsor Castle. Well, thanks for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.